Hey, also what I'm going to do here is talk through strategies you can use for the various events in the game. So before I do that, there are a few changes to my account since the last video. Firstly, I have numbered all of the colonies and moons. You can see here, all the way down from 1 to 33. If I click on a moon, the moon is also numbered as well. This is basically to make the planets a lot easier to find. With all the planets just named colony, it's very difficult to find which planet you are currently on or currently sending stuff to, so this actually makes a huge difference in my opinion, making things a lot easier. I've also worked a bit more on the other skill trees, the Commander and Discoverer skill trees. I didn't originally realise that no matter which class you select, you get the bonuses from all of the skill trees, so that's why I have upgraded those as well. That was a mistake I made, only going for the Miner skill tree. You do want to upgrade all of these. I think Miner is the best class though, at this stage in the game. I really like the 2x cargo speed between your own planets. Also 50% extra to the mines does help a lot. Miner is the class I want to be currently. Alright, so let's start talking about the events. The current event up is, if we go over to the system, a Chaos event. This is 9x fleet speed. Resource production is 2,000 times rather than 1,000. Ship and resource findings on expeditions have been doubled, and asteroid counts have been doubled as well. So what I've done here is something kind of interesting. I've used an Empire Protection item. You can see that at the top of the screen. And basically what I'm doing is farming expeditions. I've also done something else in the premiums. I've activated the 500% resource extraction for 2 days while Empire Protection is up. Since the resource production is doubled, if I add the 500% from here as well, it should hopefully have made the production go through the roof with a bit of luck, getting a significant amount from my mines. Of course, there are other ways to play this event as well, but I think Empire Protection with a bonus in the premium for resource production is a pretty good strategy. You get a lot more from your mines, you can't be attacked as well, and you can still farm expeditions even with Empire Protection activated. So what I'm going to do is send a multi-expedition. I'm going to send everything apart from the Death Stars. You can see here, Death Stars are simply too slow, so I don't see any point in sending them. The rest of the fleet is okay to send though, in my opinion, so I've got that going. 16 expeditions are now flying with quite a lot of fleet in each of the expeditions. You can see here what I've sent on each one. And if I go over to here, you can see some of the other expedition results that I have managed to get. Quite a few ships there. Decent resources. That's actually a good amount of resources for my account. Again, ships 6.3. That's a lot of light cargoes. There we go, there's a few more that I have sent. That's a good one as well, a good amount of ships. I may also build more fleet and send that on the expeditions as well, with the resources I get from the mines and from the expeditions. Keep reinvesting it, then try and keep the fleet safe until a scrap event comes up. So before I move on to the next event, I will just talk through what Empire Protection actually does. Basically, you can't attack, but you can't be attacked either. So it's sort of a double-edged sword when using it during a Chaos event. You could go through and farm the inactives without it activated, but since I've activated it, obviously I can't do that. And with the faster fleet speed, you'd get through those inactives really quickly. So this is not necessarily the best way to play a Chaos event, but it is a pretty safe way. I'll go over to the settings. You can actually disable Empire Protection from here. You can see I could click that deactivate button and get rid of it, but I'm not going to do that, obviously. If we go over to the shop, you can see 2-day Empire protection costs a lot of dark matter, so to go and disable it would be pretty stupid. Alright, so now we have the 100% scrap event on. You can see here, during the event, you'll be able to scrap all of your units at full price. So if we have a look at the fleet I have here, what I can do here is sell the ships that I don't really need and then build better ships in replacement of them. Now, one of my favourite ships is the Reaper. You can see here I don't have too many of those, so what I'm going to do is deploy all of this to the planet. Then I'm going to sell most of this, I think, then build Reapers and heavy cargoes instead. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go, deploy to the planet like so. That will take a bit of time. Alright, so that's that done. Here's the fleet on the planet. So let's go over to the merchant and start scrapping. So here we go, let's scroll down here. So what do I want to scrap? Well, light fighters don't really... Oh wow, look how much res I get for just scrapping the light fighters. That's pretty good. Colony ships, well I've got one. That's used for slowing down a fleet save, but since I have Death Stars as well, I don't really need that. Heavy fighters, there we go. Cruisers not really used. You can see just how much resources are building up already. Then yeah, I think I'm going to just put everything into Reapers after I have scrapped this. So let's keep going. I don't use the asteroid miners. I never seem to get much from asteroids, if I'm being honest. I've tried a few times. So I will just take that down by 1. Just keeping the 1 Death Star. Falcons as well, avatars. Right, should I go ahead and scrap all of that and see what I'm left with? There we go. Wow, that's filled it up nice and quickly. So what I can do now is hopefully build Reapers and other mines or facilities that I need on the planet. So I could put on a mine, for example, and maybe a terraformer as well. I think I'll do the terraformer first. Always needing fields on the planets. There we go, that's done. And now going over to the shipyard. What should I build? Well, I'm going to need heavy cargoes, aren't I? So let's build a very large amount of those. Well, it's not really very large. There's resources on the moon as well that I'm just going to move across to the planet. So I've got a bit more to play around with here. There we go. Let's do that. The fleet I have on the planet, that's currently what I have. So if I did get hit, that's not really a big deal if I lost all of that. Just keeping the Reapers, as I think they're one of the best ships. Go back over to the shipyard. It's going to take a bit of time to complete the heavy cargoes, but I think I will build some more Reapers as well. There we go, 1 billion, and put that in the queue. It's a bit strange that it scrolls down like that after you've built something as well. I'm not sure why it does that. But there we go, I've scrapped all the fleet that I don't really use, and I'm building fleet that I actually may need, plus buildings and mines. I don't recommend scrapping buildings though. I haven't actually tried this, but I've heard you can do that. I think if you put it on demolish, you get the full cost. Not 100% sure about this. I know someone mentioned that you can scrap buildings during the event as well. I'm not going to try it, but it's something to bear in mind. I think scrapping the fleet that you don't need or defences and building stuff that you do need instead is the best use for this event. If you farm expeditions as well, you should get plenty of fleet. I'll just go over to the expeditions. You can see here, you always get large chunks of fleet from these. Then that's all perfect for the scrapping event to sell. There we go, I think we're done with the scrap event. Now to finish, we're going to be having a look at the Inactive Farming Event. Now this is basically the most important event in the game. Inactives get randomly filled up with resources is every 10 minutes here, 24-hour event. So the first thing you want to do is set a plunder fleet, and one that's specifically for the event. For this, I've gone with 10 billion heavy cargoes. It's probably better to use light cargoes, but since I have more of these, I decided to go for those instead. Then the strategy is basically just click on anything, really. If you lose a few cargoes, it doesn't matter. You want to be a bit careful of ones like this that have reasonable sized debris fields. Those likely have defense. You can go and probe around as well, just to see which ones do have defense. I'll probe a few here. But really, you just want to be farming the entire event. Just doing that, going through and clicking on anything. Just be a bit careful though. Don't spend ages clicking without going back to overview. Oh, there's one there that I want to stay away from. You can see there the debris is massive. That's likely got defense. I'll probe that just to check. Probe. You get the idea though. Once you know which ones have defense, you can avoid those and just farm all the others. I've managed to run out of ships, but that's the basic strategy for this event anyway. So a few other tips for this event. Since you will get a huge amount of resources, you want to try and spend a lot of it as you go. So what I'm going to do here is deploy most of it to the planet. I can deploy all of it actually, and then I'll put some research or building on, maybe even a nanite factory. The other things you can do here, if you go over to the academy, the commander class is by far the best one, but it does cost 200k dark matter to change class, with the exception of the first change, so you have to decide if that's worthwhile. I think it is. You can see what the commander does. Miner and Discoverer are not really that much use for the event compared to Commander. But there we go, that's something you can do as well if you have the dark matter to do so. Now let's go over to the planet. There's all the resources. So one of the things I can do, I think, go over to the facilities. I could do a terraformer. I can't quite do a nanite factory. If we have a look at the researches, you can see some of the stuff I could do here. I could do astrophysics, so that's always good. Only going to take a few seconds to complete as well, so I'll wait that out. See if I can do anything else afterwards. There we go. So I could also click on one of the blue tabs. For example, cargo technology. That could be incredibly useful for the event. So I'm going to click on the blue tab and do this, and that automatically upgrades it and trades the resources. I still have enough deuterium to move my fleet around, so to speak, so I'll put all of this back on the moon like so. That shouldn't take too long. Since you're likely going to need quite a lot of dark matter for this event, I recommend doing the promote server as soon as it's available. Doing all 5 of those is an extra 50k dark matter. You can do these every 12 hours as well. This is by far the easiest way to get dark matter, plus you help promote the game as well. So finally, I will have a look at what I probed. Just be aware if someone else probes you, you do want to be a bit careful. You can see the ones with defense tend to build up a lot of resources, as most players tend to stay away from them, so what you could do during the event is build a large amount of ships. I'll just go over to my moon. The fleet I currently have available is here. I recommend building Reapers if you're going to do that. You could easily get 500 billion Reapers. Won't take long at all with inactive farming. Then you can start cracking open some of the inactives that have defense. Most other players won't go near them. They'll be doing what I'm doing and just farming anything. And if they take a loss, they generally are not too fussed, since it's very quick to replenish the cargoes. So I think I'm going to end the video at this point. I hope that was interesting and helpful. As I mentioned, the Inactive Farming Event is the most important event. I'd recommend saving up all your dark matter for the event. Then you can auto-build stuff when you need it. If you do have any questions or suggestions regarding this video, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to help. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is always very much appreciated. I've included a previous video on the screen, plus a playlist, plus you can also subscribe from here if you want to do so. And thanks for watching.